huge pain. It's like clefable sort of, if that makes sense. It's it can be Trick Room, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Wish, Protect. It gets coverage, whatever. Um, of course, Carvanha gets Waterfall, Crunch, Psychic Fangs for Badoo, Protect. I don't know if it actually gets any setup of its own. It might get Swords Dance or Work Up or something like that. I think it's Aqua Jet as well. Baton Pass is allowed. I don't think my opponent actually has any Baton Pass users, but that's something to keep in mind as well. Scraggy is a really, really solid fighting type, especially with access to Shed Skin, Moxie, and Intimidate with Dragon Dance and Bulk Up. Can be a really, really scary mon. He's got the Drillbur, which can spin, and it is only a ground type though, so that's pretty nice that it doesn't have the secondary steel typing. Natu's got that nice magic bounce, psychic type, so nice. I guess I guess it couldn't really check smooch him, and just click Ice Beam. Yeah, but I guess we can just start talking about our team. There's no sense on like talking about his team and all that for so long, so on and so forth. Anyways, so what we've decided to bring this week is a Meowth, Diglett, Badoo, Smoochum, Staryu, and Bonsly squad here. We've got White Panther with the Silk Scarf and the Technician. Fake Out and Feint for dual priority. Double Edge to hit as hard as fucking possible. And then we've got Substitute because I do expect to. Okay, sometime during the match it's going to be revealed that I have Fake Out on Meowth and that I have Feint on Meowth. It may be versus Carvanha. It may not be. In the instance that it's not, I do predict him to want to maybe take my Fake Out and then protect, or maybe protect on my Fake Out and then tank the Feint. So I might have to Feint on the protect and then Feint again, or predicting his substitute, or his protect, I could just click substitute myself and then be behind a sub. His only resist to this is his Amaru, or it's not Amaru, it's Amara, which, like, my team wears it down. First of all, Diglett traps it and KOs it. Staryu and Bonsly can knock it out. Smoochum don't mind it. The only thing that's really fearful of it's Badoo, and then once that thing's going, what's his normal resist? He doesn't have one. So I felt like three normal attacks and substitute would be fine. Just mono normal stab, I guess. I felt like it can put in the work. Hence the Silk Scarf too. Since I'm only running normal moves, I felt like Life Orb, and substitute would be just a little bit too much. So Silk Scarf would work best for that. I am speed creeping. I'm actually not speed creeping his fastest Pokemon, as you can see. I'm not max speed or anything like that. I don't need to be. If he has something that's faster than me, I can just Fake Out into Feint, knock it out, and I still outspeed things like Carvanha before his speed boost and stuff like that. So that's noteworthy in my opinion. Next up we have Diglett. So we're not actually Scarf Diglett. We're rocking a Z move. We've got the Tectonic Rage with Arena Trap, obviously. Sub, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Protect. Again, we're rocking the Substitute with the same speed. What's the word? Speed tier. Same speed creep as Meowth had, with Rock Slide and Earthquake being our only two attacking moves, and Substitute. Like I mentioned, I am 100% afraid of the Carvanha. I do expect it to protect and get a speed boost sometime during the match. And if it so happens to happen versus Meowth, I have several different ways I could Fake Out on the protect and then Feint the following turn. I could Feint twice and maybe pick up the knockout. I can sub on the protect, and then again with Diglett I can also sub on the protect. That's really, really nice for me. And Protect allows me to scout for things that my opponent might want to go for, and like if he's like a choice locked, he goes for a super effective move. He doesn't go for a super effective move. It just gives me the opportunity to scout more and react better, more appropriate. And yeah, that's it for that. Next up is Badoo, which is a Spikes variant with Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb as our only two attacks, and then Synthesis as our reliable recovery. We are, um, I guess it's kind of dependent. Our Synthesis is dependent on weather, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue in this battle particularly. And we do have the EVO Light with, max defense, max PBF with, close to max HP. We just dumped the rest in HP really. And then dual stab is all I really needed this match. And then Spikes, as you'll see later, I do have Stealth Rocks as well. So Hazard Stack is really, really nice for things like Meowth and Diglett. And as you'll see, it's pretty good for Smooching. Jadakiss here. I told y'all I would have a good nickname for that. Jadakiss here. It'll be good for that, as well as Staryu and Bonsly too. So anyways, next up is Smooching. We got the Eviol out here. He does have the Natu, which is kind of hard for me to switch into. So we've got Psychic, Ice Beam, Signal Beam, and Substitute. Substitute is obviously there for the same reason it's on Diglett and Meowth, and as you'll see in a second, it's on Staryu as well. So we have Psychic and Ice Beam. Signal Beam is there because it hits Carvanha super effectively. Psychic and Ice Beam can deal with basically everything else. And then I got the Forewarn there just so that I can like get some intel on my opponent's squads and whatnot. But yeah, this is a really solid 3 attacks Pokemon with Substitute. That's all it really is. Not too much to say about it. Nothing too special. I did debate on some like toxic mean look things, but it turns out that Natu gets Magic Bounce, just like it's fully evolved form, and it wasn't gonna work. So I changed it to this last minute, and hopefully this puts in the work. Next up, we have Staryu, which is a Life Orb, a Substitute Life Orb variant. Really, really packing the power with Hydro Pump, Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, and Substitute. This thing is like a lead set that I can use to prevent things like, first of all, if Scraggy sets up a Dragon Dance, it's very, very, very problematic for my team. So the idea is to have everything on my team be able to prevent that from happening. We've got, that's why I have Double Edge here. Hits the hardest. I can just click Double Edge. If he goes for Dragon Dance after that, then I can maybe click Feint. Fake Out, Double Edge into Feint should knock out a Scraggy unless it's Berry Juice. Granny MZ should knock it out unless it's Eviolite. This, it can actually set up on this, so I won't talk about that. And then Signal Beam does enough to where I can't be set up on. And then I got Dazzling Gleam on this, and as you'll see on Bonsly, I've got a way to quickly get out of there. So Hydro Pump hits basically everything on his team. Outside of his, I think he's got a Grass type. Yeah, Trico, which gets hit by the Ice Beam. And then Ice Beam and Hydro Pump might not pick up a kill that I need on Carvanha. So I'm also packing the Dazzling Gleam on that bad boy. Last but not least, we have Bonsly, which is a Berry Juice variant with the Sturdy ability. And we've got Endure so that if our Sturdy's broken, we can still Endure down to our Sturdy. Basically, our Berry Juice will pop, we'll get back to full, and then our Sturdy will be intact. So it's basically like, it's a lot like how I used Onyx in the APA Little Cup Tour. But yeah, we've got Stealth Rocks, Rock Slide, and Explosion. So Explosion is like our way to just get out, get the hell out of there. And go on with life. But Rock Slide's there for basically everything else. Stealth Rock, Spikes, helps Staryu, Meowth, Diglett, and Smooch and put in the work in this match, hopefully. But yeah, that's going to be it for the team building section, and we'll go ahead and hop into the replay, and we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are with the replay. My opponent does bring the Carvanha and the Spritzy as expected. He also brings the Scraggy, the Trico, the Amara, and the LGM. So the LGM is a big threat. Another reason that Starmie has the Signal Beam. I thought about running a Shadow Ball on Smoochum as well, and it was another reason for the Eviolite on Smoochum as well. So that's something to talk about. Leads, his only Stealth Rocker is his Amara, I believe. Trico could be like an SD variant or like an Unburdened variant with like some kind of berry with Endure, or maybe like a sub Salic or sub Lychee or something like that. Spritzy could be Wish Protect, could be Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, could be Trick Room even for Scraggy, and maybe LGM. Something to think about. Very, very scary squad. Anyway, we've got the squad that we talked about in the team builder, and we'll go ahead and lead off here. Like I mentioned, his only Stealth Rocker was his Amaru, or his Amara. So I decided to lead off with Diglett so that I could just trap it, and then he would have to decide if I was Choice Scarf, if he was Choice Scarf. And first of all, if he was Choice Scarf, he would think, okay, is my opponent Choice Scarf? And if he is, does it matter? Am I Shed Shell? Can I switch? Am I Sturdy? Does it even get Sturdy? Am I Focus Sash? Am I Choice Scarf myself? Am I going to be a Z move? He doesn't know. And I am actually a Z move, like I mentioned. I'm the Groundium Z for the Tectonic Rage. And this thing's a threat, and it's trapped, bar Shed Shell. So I'm going to go for the Z move, turn 1, and knock this bad boy out. And he goes immediately into his Trico. So I know this thing's more than likely going to have some kind of grass coverage, obviously. I'm going to hard switch into my Badoo. I think it's my best play, as my opponent clicks the Swords Dance. Now what could be really scary here, I don't think it's what's going to happen, which is why I don't actually scout for it. If this were playoffs, I may scout for this move and hard switch out into my Bonsly. And especially since we've already played once, if he makes it to the playoffs, he would definitely, I think he would definitely bypass it. But in the first match, I do think he was some kind of Unburdened set. I don't think he was a Z move. If he was Supersonic Sky Strike here, it would probably... Yeah, it would probably bot me. But yeah, I don't think he was a Z move there. He goes for the Acrobatics, which I knew wouldn't kill me, and I go for the Sludge Bomb, which does drop him. And he immediately sends in his Scraggy. Thought about going for the Sludge Bomb for the poison, and then trying to stall him out. But he could be Shed Skin. And in the case that he is Shed Skin, I decided that my best play was to hard switch out into my Bonsly, where I can live any one hit here. And I can just go for the Explosion. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to set up my Stealth first, because he's going to pop my Berry Juice with my Sturdy activating. Berry Juice activates. And then I can just explode on the following turn. And it does a hefty chunk to where it's going to be in range of Meowth's Fake Out. And now I can Revenge Kill it. So Bonsly putting in the work, able to live the first Drain Punch thanks to the Sturdy. The Berry Juice popped. I went back to full, had another Sturdy intact, was able to set up my Stealth Rocks, and then explode on the following Drain Punch. And then to the point where, since my Sturdy was broken, I was at like 5% HP or whatever, and Scraggy gets nothing back from the Drain Punch. So really, really solid there. And now Meowth picks up a kill, hard switches out, sack off my Badoo here. I felt like it had did its job. I felt like I have enough for Spritzy in the back. So I felt like I could let this go. This may or may not be my first mistake, though. Remember that. I didn't think I needed it for the Spritzy. Keep that in mind. Anyways, we go into Smooch him here, and we set up a substitute. Just, maybe he would switch out, or he might not do enough to us since we're the EVLI. But he is able to do enough to us to break subs. He gets a crit there. I don't think it mattered. I think anything he goes into gets a knockout here. And he chooses to go into Spritzy here. And what I'm going to do is just spam Ice Beam as he reveals Wish on the first turn. And I go for the Psychic on the following turn. Spidef drops and freezes are eventually going to happen. Maybe a crit. I don't want it to happen. I think he's got it here at this point. I do see an out still, though, if he Calm Minds all the way up. If he uses me as setup fodder, I do still see an out. So we just got to get the plays right. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, is he's just going to Calm Mind up until he is able to receive a Wish and knock me out on the same turn. And then I go into my Diglett. And what I do here is I just go straight for the Earthquake as he goes for the Moonblast. So what's happened here is I've set him up for this right here. So I revealed Fake Out earlier on the Scraggy. So he thinks I'm going to go for the Fake Out here. And what he's going to do is he's going to predict me to click Fake Out, and he's going to click Protect. And here's my out. Predicting that, I'm going to have to go for Feint here and bypass his Protect. Get enough chip damage on him to where he's now in range of Life Orb Double Edge from a Jolly Silk Scarf Max Attack Meowth. And so I think this was definitely a misplay here. I think I should have always went for Feint. 2 Feints would knock him out. For sure, with the Silk Scarf. And had I clicked sub there and he attacked, I was kind of stunning, quote, quote, unquote. And had he attacked, predicting my Feint, then he would get a speed boost the following turn and would be able to knock me out. It's complicated. Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be it for the game. Good game to Corey. Let me know what you think about the game. We got a nice 2-0 victory to start the season. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.